and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sherry Ann.
So we'll start with our a pest check-in to get grounded. Sherry Ann, will you start?
Yes. So physically, I am a 3.5. Emotionally, I'm a 3.3. Spirit, 4. Hope, 4. And my word is processing.
Okay, my turn. Physically, I am a 4. Emotionally, I am a 4. Spiritually, 4.25. And hope is a 4.4. And my word is wholeness. So today's topic, we're going to talk about our coaches. I mean, we talk about coaching and the coaching that we offer a lot and a lot about our curriculum, but our coaches, the individuals who really hold that and have journeyed with us and who really understand all of our work. We want to celebrate them and talk about them and kind of the journey we've been on with our coaches.
And it's a fun topic. I mean, you're right. I don't think that we actually talk about our coaches. I mean, we've been training coaches since 2012, which just seems like so long ago. And yet, because we're constantly inviting new coaches in to be trained, it feels just like always, like it's just yesterday. Because, excuse me, because it is. And we have an active certification coaching group right now. And just being with these trainees reminds me of their journey, of how they start with us. And then we still are in touch with and have relationships with the coaches that we trained in 2012, which is so delightful to say.
Yeah.
They're thriving in the ways that they do.
So all of our coaches come with us through the certification program. And so we have coaches who are certified, who have completed all of the testing that goes along with the certification program. And we have coaches who haven't completed it yet. And we have coaches who are here, they're active. And we also have coaches who have, they're doing their own business out there. So when everyone comes to certification with us, they get the full training. They learn every little bit of our curriculum. They get to practice it. They get to work with each other, and they all come from their own different backgrounds. And then as they come out of it, they have all of the skills that they need to really make this their own practice, make this their own business, as well as coach with us. So it's this really beautiful community that we get to hold on to, and we get to meet everyone exactly where they're at, right? Because some people, they have a clear, like, okay, I'm going through this program, I'm going to start my own business, I'm going to launch it all, and I'm ready, I just need the skills, and then I'm good to go. And then we have some people who the journey changes so much throughout those 8 months, right? And a lot of people are caregivers, a lot of people are survivors, or they're metastatic. So everyone's journey after the program can change too. What's beautiful though is that we always invite them to come back. And if they feel like they've drifted too far, if it's been too long, we always invite them back. And we hold them in this container called the Association of Cancer Journey Coaches, which offers, advanced trainings as well as just other opportunities to connect with us, to work with us, to learn with us, and to learn from each other and have each other, because every year we have 1 or 2 certification groups that go through for that 8-month period. And so not all of our coaches know each other, but by being in the association, we get to have a place where we can all meet, we can all have discussions, we can all continue to grow and be on this journey together.
Yes. As you're talking, I was kind of thinking of the mothership, right? So you start here, and then you create your own little spaceship, and when you go off and you do what you do, but you can always come back. There are, docks for you to come back to periodically, and then on your own, it's just like they're getting refueled when they come back in. And with the association in the in the new version that we have right now, which we just launched this year, they have monthly touch points, and sometimes more than monthly, like twice a month. It depends on the month, but there's more ways for them to connect in. And then we have the whole community where they can talk to each other online and share ideas and collaborate and things like that. But coming back to the whole concept of the mothership, I love the idea of we keep learning. I mean, us, the team, me, Sherry Ann, the people who bring new things to um, our our base of curriculum.
Hmm.
And there's going to be so much more coming in the future of offshoots because we're solid with our core. So we get to start reaching out, but we always remember what's our goal and our purpose. And I think that, let me bring it back to the coaches, they get that. They've got
Hmm.
the core. It's like, all right, so how can I play more with the Cancer Journey Institute, or what can I gain so that I can add my flavor and my creativity to it and bring that out to my slice of the world? Because we're global now, there's so much more and the reach is so much wider.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're we're flexible to an extent with our coaches, and we are excited by their excitement. We're excited by the opportunities that we have working with other, organizations and centers and groups that we get to share with them. We're excited with the opportunities, if they want to lead some of our programs, and opportunities we get to create with our coaches. Our coaches often have connections on their own with their doctors, with their community, what they're doing. And so to have us involved is really such a gift for us. And we get to not only help guide them, but just participate and grow our network even more and more to have this community that is helping the community of cancer at large, really. Because that is our connecting factor. We're not coaching coaches to be like militant soldiers who all do the exact same thing. It's really about the individual and their strengths and their values that really make them the right coach. And we have so many coaches too that when a client comes in, not everyone's going to be a perfect fit with everyone. So we get to really match our clients specifically to the coaches that we believe will really resonate with them. And if not, well, we will figure that out. But I just love that everyone gets to be uniquely them. We're not asking them to be anything but, and they get to bring their own strengths and their own environments they're in, right? So, like, culturally, it's different across the world and globally. And so, we want to continue to invest in our coaches and the ideas that they have to really change the culture of how cancer is seen wherever they are. Um,
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking, I would love to talk about a couple of our coaches. We have one on the East Coast, and she's been with us since 2013, believe that or not. And she has chosen the breast cancer niche, but she's also aligned herself with surgeons who are there kind of at the front end of of a diagnosis for an individual, and they're starting to realize the value of having a cancer journey coach, someone who deals with the mindset and the mental part, the emotions, big part of that, and then the spirit. It's like, wow, we need to keep um, stoking the flame of that inner spirit and their spiritualness, which allows that connection with their world and their people and their family. And so all of that she has brought to one particular surgeon's office who has created this group. And so she's laying out her own curriculum based on ours, and we're working in tandem with her to make sure that she's feeling solid and she has what she needs to create this body of work so that she can help that group. So it does feel like, the mothership and this little individual spaceships, and then they're going off into their local universe and adding that in and supporting that. So I'm just really delighted. Her name is Judy Viacava, and I'm very excited about what she's got going.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're so proud of our coaches and everything they're creating because we get to see it, right? Like they do coach with us, but they also have their own coaching business and they get to develop their own business and their own um relationships with people and we do as well, which is really exciting. We have a lot of partnerships that are coming up, a lot of opportunities that we otherwise may not have without the help of our coaches, and we get to bring more of the cancer journey coaching, the emotional, mental, spiritual support that is often so missing along a cancer journey. I mean, I could only imagine, like, in doctors' offices, like, from the minute they tell someone for the first time that they have cancer, devastating. Absolutely devastating. Just like that moment, all the way through treatment, right? Like, you can't neglect the emotional impact, the spiritual impact, the mental impact that a cancer diagnosis has on any one person, much less their entire family that comes and you see the support or doesn't come and you see even the individual and how that affects them along that journey. Like their cancer doctor sees them throughout the entire thing. And so how do they hold that, and that's where we come in, and that's where we want to continue to bring our coaches in so that this whole journey is not as difficult as it has to be. I mean, so many of our coaches have come through an experience of like cancer was really hard. Whether the like treatment itself was hard or just the length of it or any number of things that could have come up throughout that journey. People come to us for a reason. They train with us for a reason, and it's because they really don't want anyone to have to navigate the cancer journey with the same level of difficulty they did. They want everyone to
Right?
have that love and support.
Yeah. And what I really love is that we have this solid body of tools and frameworks and concepts that they not just learn, but they actually embody and I mean, we talk about having it at a cell level for our coaches so that it's available when they're working with their patients and their clients and their um, caregivers, the whole span of it. And because of that, it makes it so easy for us to go, yes, clients come in and any of our coaches has a strong grasp of what we train so that it makes it easy to know, yes, 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 you're going to be supported in the best possible way with these particular tools and frameworks.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that with the association, what's really new is the perspective we're sitting in with this association. Before it was just kind of like a place to connect, a place to touch base with them, and it's also evolving into, after certification ends, like we don't want them to feel dropped. We don't want them to feel like, and now what? I think what we actually hear the most often is that people miss being in class. People miss being with us and having this work and this language that we all talk about, that we're all so passionate about, and that has real impact on this world. Um, it becomes like a missing piece. And so the association is in tandem to that and expanding on that and really wanting to hold our coaches and also continue that same practice, right? No matter how long ago they've been with us or how recent, they get to join with us like the minute they finish certification, to continue that same process, to learn new skills, to further develop skills we've just touched on. I mean, yes, we're together for 8 months and we're with lessons for a good bit. We get to practice them, but like we could always use more practice in such a safe space with people who really understand what we're trying to say instead of being like, okay, now go do that tool with the client. You don't feel super comfortable with it. Like, no, let's have a skills lab. Let's practice that tool here and know what it feels like and the nuances of it so you can be a more confident coach. It's not even about being a better coach, it's more confident coach because that imposter syndrome at the end of certification starts to land so heavy because you feel confident all throughout certification. You're like, I'm getting this, I'm practicing it, I'm getting good feedback, I'm doing my supervisions and I'm knowing what my edge is. But then at the end you're like, oh man, and now I have to go like sell myself as a coach, right? And that becomes so hard because the work that we do is so heartfelt that sometimes it feels inauthentic to sell that, because it's like it's coming from the heart. It feels so true and real for me. How can I possibly label it in a way that is our work? Because you're valuable, because what you bring is valuable, and we want to bring that to more and more people. So that's also why we lift up our coaches. We're not putting up a wall and being like, you can only do this here for us. And we want the cancer journey coaching to spread. We want it to really, we want every cancer patient, survivor, thriver, and caregiver to have a coach. Like,
Yeah.
ideally, that's what we really truly want.
Yes. And what's beautiful about what we do with our coaches is that, I mean, you were talking about all the wonderful tools that we have, but they have to go through and experience each of the tools and the frameworks so that they understand when they're taking their client through it, what the impact is, what's the possibilities of that. And we wouldn't have it any other way. So we get to see them grow personally. And that is the side effect, but it's also this wonderful personal journey that they get to be on and take, that we get to witness.
Mhm.
And that continues, and hopefully that will continue even more with the association. But it is that lighting up of our coaches
Mhm.
that I love seeing. And so when they're talking about their business, when we get to their purpose essence, when we get to their purpose, their unique, yummy, only you can do it the way that you do it purpose, and they can speak to that to a potential client, the it's not really selling.
Mhm.
It's just talking about what brings them alive and what they do and how they do it. And so it just becomes this conversation, this engaging conversation that they're having with somebody else. And I think that is the most attractive um, and enrolling conversation that you can have, to share the story of you and how you got there and how you want to help somebody else get there too.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes from such a deep place why people come to us, right? Like, where they started, what their cancer journey was or is. Um it's so unique, and it's funny because so often during these conversations that we have as we, start to enroll them into the program, they're like, "Oh yeah, you've heard this story before, I had cancer or whatever." And you're like, "Okay, but your unique story is unique. It has all the nuances and like the way your family, your friends, your community showed up for you, how your doctor treated you, what kind of cancer it was, and what kind of treatment you were given, like all the different pieces of it, what was going on in your life while you're going through cancer, if you have kids, if you have pets, like there's such a breadth of history that comes with each of our coaches that brings them to us. And so, I mean, I think that's one of the most like exciting things as they come into it, because we're all coming from different places with a similar desire to help the next generation, the next community, the next patients, the next caregivers. I mean, I can't say caregivers enough, because they never give themselves their flowers, and they deserve all of the flowers for just constantly showing up and holding the space too, holding that safe space. And I love that so many of our coaches, they come from such a heartfelt place, right? Like, and sometimes for such a painful place is really where they've come from. So they get to show up, and sometimes they're not ready to be vulnerable, and then along the way we watch them become vulnerable, and that same growth that you're talking about that we get to watch from here to here. I mean, not everyone has to know your story in certification. We like to know the story. We want to know where you're coming from as, a business, and as, the people who are leading you into this program. But when you're in the program itself, you only get to reveal as much as you want to reveal, and you can still be vulnerable without telling everyone every little detail of your story. You can be vulnerable with how you're feeling without being vulnerable about, your relationships with the people and how all that changed, because what you learn throughout the program is that it doesn't really matter who you are. It matters what's happened in your life, but who you are now and what you're standing in is the most powerful place that you have and the most powerful place to be.
Yeah, for sure. So again, I want to just kind of shout out about some of our coaches to celebrate them because that's what we're doing with all of this yummy goodness that they've gone through. I want to shout out to Satoko in Japan, who really took this body of work and said, we don't have this. We need to have this. I see the value of it. So I'm going to create this company where I'm going to go and work in tandem with the doctors and whomever will listen to me in the medical world. So she's been very um, active in some of the organizations out there. And so, yay, Satoko. Um, there's Susanna in Italy, who just finished translating the Call of Cancer book, our book, into Italian and wants to just bring it to the whole of Italy. She lovingly said, let's do Rome and Milan and um, Genoa. So those are great places to start.
And
And
she brought us into Italy, oh gosh, 3 years ago now, when we got to present our work. And our one of our coaches, Sally, was also in Rome presenting some of our work at the IOLC, the International Oncology Leadership Conference, to a room full of oncology professionals, doctors, like from around the world, as well as you and Susanna getting to present to a local chapter of, I think it was their breast cancer group there. So we got to have those opportunities there too, and we get to expand on them. So I also wanted to add that because even though it
yes,
happened, it still matters.
yes, no, and it was amazing to me when we were in Italy to have that group of there were cancer patients and survivors and oncologists, and we did a real time presentation. I spoke English and Susanna translated it in Italian. I felt like I understood what she said, even though she was speaking Italian. But it was what happened after is like this wash of the oncologist who came to the stage after and said, "We need this. We want more. We need to hear what you're talking about." And so having the book done helps support their work, helps support our work. Um, she's a rock star. And then just this morning, I got an email from our coach in Australia who said, I think I secured a grant and I want to put together a Thriver program out here. And I'm like, all right, here we go. So just the presence, not only of the United States, of which I think we have a nice solid footing in, but just that international movement that's happening feels del- yummy
Yeah.
because we've got these rock star coaches.
Yeah. And it's actually, during COVID, we had to switch a lot of things to virtual, right? Which has worked in our favor because we do get to have that impact, across the world. We have coaches in Japan, Australia, Switzerland, Italy, the Middle East. Oh my God, where am I forgetting?
Oh,
Singapore?
we're
Everywhere?
everywhere. Not quite yet in Latin America, but tomorrow morning, I'm talking to they call themselves Team Espanol. Yeah, for sure. So again, I want to just kind of shout out about some of our coaches to celebrate them because that's what we're doing with all of this yummy goodness that they've gone through. I want to shout out to Satoko in Japan, who really took this body of work and said, we don't have this. We need to have this. I see the value of it. So I'm going to create this company where I'm going to go and work in tandem with the doctors and whomever will listen to me in the medical world. So she's been very um, active in some of the organizations out there. And so, yay, Satiko. Um, there's Susanna in Italy who just finished and so we're talking strategy of how they'll bring that to the Spanish speaking areas.
And
And
that is a few of our coaches, though. It's not like an outside, like Team Espanol is like, they are cancer journey coaches.
yes, yes, they are. Just I'm just delighted of what they're inspired to do and what they're doing. And then we get to, you always say this, stand on our shoulders. And I love holding them up. It's like, yep, let's go. Yep, let's go. And then there's people who stand on their shoulders. I mean, it propagates itself so automatically, and it feels good to know that we get to make this kind of difference out there with our coaches, them on their own, but they're still tethered to us, so they don't feel like I'm floating here by myself. We
Mhm.
don't want that.
Yeah.
That's never been our intent.
And like they have the fire to start their own connections by having us support them. We have our own connections that we're building. I mean, we're in Stanford, we're in UCSF, we're in a lot of places. I mean, especially because locally, you guys are in California in the Bay Area, and so there are a lot of connections there from the past all the way through now. But we get to continue to hold those and create opportunities with those connections that we're having for our coaches as well. So it's really it's like this beautiful mess of a community where we all get to like bring this excitement, this creativity, this individuality into a place where you're so heard and gotten. Like we all speak that same CJI language, that whenever you're away from it for a little while, you feel distant and then you jump back into it and you're like, oh, I remember this. I remember this conversation. I remember how this feels and how supportive it is and how, even the way we teach our curriculum, we say it's adult learning, but it's also so unique in that it's a demonstration, explanation, but also like active practice in the moment too, to really like tether it to yourself, right? So we just want to continue to develop this like very rich community of our coaches and the coaches that work with us deeply. I mean, we love our coaches so much. And we
Yes, we do.
really, really see them for like the strengths that they have, and we want to create opportunities with us, with other partners within their own community that really resonate for them and resonate, with us too.
Yeah. So my takeaway is that there aren't borders. Like we have busted through those borders, and so everybody can have a cancer journey coach. And I just believe in them so much, and I applaud them for all that we said, their passion, their dedication, their ingenuity, all of that. I do feel like they're extensions of us when they want to be, and not when they don't want to be. And I love that we get to meet them where they are. Um, so my word is proud, and my pesh is 4 across the board. That's where I am. How about you?
Okay, my takeaway. Our coaches are brilliant and that they are on their own path. Um, with tons of support. We never really let anyone go. We always keep them with us. And I love what you said, that like whether they choose to be actively here tight with us or whether we are still just like a concept that they hold with them and a part of their journey, their story. I'm really grateful. um and I love that our coaches can work on such like, they have these big visions and these communities that they're in by having the experience they have, um, where they can have impact, but also one to one, right? Because we teach coaching on a one to one basis, like for individual coaching. Um, they can also deeply do that and understand their client individually and really show up for them and be there and hold that space like no one else really out there can. Um, yeah, pride's a really good being proud is a really good word. I am okay, let me do my pet first. So physically I am a 4. Emotionally, I'm a 4.25, spiritually a 4.25, and hope is a 4.5, and my word is lit up.
Yay.
Well, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week.
And it's wonderful to have you with us. Remember, you're more powerful than you realize. Have a lovely rest of your day.